After my 3-day business conference, I came home to find my house transformed into a wedding. When I left for my 3-day business conference, everything in my life felt normal. My house was clean, quiet, and exactly the way I liked it. I double-checked the doors, watered the plants, and asked my neighbor to keep an eye on the place. I had no idea that when I returned, my entire life would look completely different. The conference itself was exhausting but successful. Long meetings, presentations, networking dinners, the usual corporate routine. By the third night, I was ready to go home, take a hot shower, and sleep for 12 straight hours. So the next afternoon, I pulled my car into my neighborhood driveway. But something immediately felt wrong. My street was packed with cars. Not just a few. Dozens. Luxury SUVs, rental vans, even a small catering truck parked near my mailbox. I frowned. Did someone throw a block party or something? I muttered to myself. Then I stepped out of the car. Music. Loud music. Wedding music. Coming from my house. My stomach dropped. I slowly walked toward the front gate. White roses were tied along the fence. There was a giant arch covered in flowers at my front door. And a sign that said, "Welcome to Emily and Jake's wedding." I blinked. Once. Twice. Emily was my cousin. Jake was her fiancé. And this was my house. I pushed open the gate, completely stunned. Guests in fancy dresses and suits were standing in my yard, holding champagne glasses. A waiter carrying a tray of appetizers walked right past me like I belonged there. I grabbed him. "Excuse me, what is going on here?" He looked confused. "The wedding, ma'am." "Yes," I said slowly. "I can see that. But why is it happening in my house?" Before he could answer, I heard a familiar voice behind me. "Oh good, you're back." I turned. My Aunt Linda walked toward me wearing a bright pink dress and a huge smile. "Isn't it beautiful?" she said, gesturing around my yard. I stared at her. "Aunt Linda, why is there a wedding in my house?" Her smile faded slightly. "Oh. Emily said she talked to you about it?" "No," I said flatly. "She didn't." Aunt Linda shifted uncomfortably. "Well, the venue cancelled last minute, and Emily was devastated. Then she remembered how big your yard is and you decided to use my house," I interrupted. She waved her hand casually. "It's just for one evening." My jaw tightened. One evening. I pointed toward the open front door. "Why are strangers inside my house?" "Oh, the makeup artists and bridesmaids needed space," she said. "And the caterers are using your kitchen." I felt like my brain was about to explode. "You gave people access to my house while I was gone." "Well, Emily had the spare key from Christmas." I froze. The spare key? I had given it to her months ago for emergencies. Not for a wedding. Right then, Emily appeared at the top of my porch steps, in a full white wedding dress. "Oh hey," she said cheerfully. "You're back already?" Already? I looked at her in disbelief. "Emily, why is your wedding happening in my house?" She rolled her eyes like I was being dramatic. "Relax. It's just temporary." "Temporary?" "Yes," she said. "The venue cancelled, and your place was perfect. So you broke into my house and invited 80 people." She crossed her arms. "You weren't using it?" The words hit me like a slap. I looked around. Guests laughing in my yard. Strangers sitting on my patio furniture. My dining table covered with wedding decorations. That's when something inside me snapped. I smiled. Calmly. Okay, I said. Emily blinked. Okay. Yeah, I nodded. You're right. Let's have the wedding. Her face lit up. See, I knew you'd understand. Oh, I understand perfectly, I said. Then I pulled out my phone and made 3 calls. The first call was to a towing company. The second call was to a private security service. The third call was to the police non-emergency line. Because technically, this wasn't a wedding. It was trespassing. 40 minutes later, things got interesting. The music suddenly stopped when 3 tow trucks rolled into the street. Guests started whispering. Then 2 security guards walked through the gate. Behind them, a police officer. Emily rushed toward me. What did you do? I folded my arms. I'm reclaiming my house. The officer asked calmly, who owns the property? I do, I said, handing him my ID. He nodded. Then turned to Emily. Ma'am, do you have permission to hold this event here? She hesitated. Well, we're family. That's not what I asked. Silence. Within minutes, the announcement was made. The wedding had to end immediately. Caterers packed up. Guests left awkwardly. And the bride, still wearing her dress, stood in my driveway furious. You ruined my wedding. She shouted. I shrugged. No, I said calmly. You ruined it when you tried to steal my house. She stormed off in tears. The next day, my phone exploded with messages from relatives. Some were angry. Some were embarrassed. But a few quietly admitted something interesting. Emily had told everyone I offered the house myself. Which, of course, was a lie. A week later, she tried to apologize. But by then, I had already done something important. I changed every single lock on my house. And I never gave anyone a spare key again. Because sometimes, the people who feel most entitled to your life, are the ones who respect it the least.